All right, hey, Fandom Stranger channel here. I wanted to make a quick response video to Yellowflash in his one of his most recent videos, the "I'm Done with Superman." One of the things that he was talking about was Brian Michael Bendis' writing in the book and how awful it's been, and how Superman's been using poop language, cocky duty and poop and everything. But there was a particular segment that really stuck out to him, and it really stuck to me too, was when Superman's like, well, I could say this sucks, but I am an award-winning journalist and blah 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 blah, right? That whole segment. And so the thing that really stuck out to, he didn't articulate it, but it came across to me. And the reason why it doesn't sound like Superman is because that whole segment was rife with narcissism. That was the problem, right? Because Superman is not one to, he doesn't rest himself on his own laurels. He doesn't go, well, I have invincibility, so I'm going to go do this. Or, I have the strength, so I'm going to go do this. No. He doesn't do that. He knows that he's super. He knows, and he's smart. I mean, he's Kryptonian level smart, which is, about 2 ages ahead of our current age in technology and in knowledge, because I think we're in the age of information. Now, the Kryptonians were about 2 ages ahead of us, and he has pretty much a fundamental understanding of their knowledge. So it's stuff like that it's just like, that's why it didn't compute. It doesn't translate well. Why that whole line didn't work? Because he wouldn't say, well, I'm an award-winning journalist, right? Brian Michael Bendis is an award-winning writer. Doesn't mean that he's any fucking good, right? Sorry, I shouldn't be cussing. I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to work on that. I shouldn't be cussing like that, but he isn't good, right? So I think that this was a portion of his own narcissism, that he thinks he's Superman. That this is because in the interview he felt, in the interview where he said, like, yeah, I went to that Cleveland exhibit and I really felt myself connected to this character, and I felt this strong drive. I need to write him and take him back to his Jewish heritage and all of this, right? So it was a part of his own narcissism that he feels, and it's quite obvious, he feels that he himself is the best comic book writer in the industry today. And it could be that he was maybe the best writer at Marvel, and he was for a very long time, but he's not. Marvel's best is, pretty much anybody's worst, at this point. But, so a lot of that was just his own narcissism bleeding through. Now, what a real Superman writer like Tomasi or Jurgens or pretty much anybody else that never worked for Marvel, even including Mark Waid, couldn't even write this. But he wouldn't say, well, this sucks. It would be written more like, using his superheroing. He's like, I hear a young man frustrated over this situation saying this sucks. And while I can empathize, Ma and Pa Kent didn't raise me to use such language and never to have such a defeated attitude. I will figure this problem out. I will solve this. That is Superman. That's Superman. I'm even reading a New 52 issue, I haven't really ever finished New 52, which is why I'm not reviewing any newer comic books from anybody right now, because I'm just kind of playing a little bit of catch up, and I'm just a little frustrated with modern comic books. But I'm reading an issue of Wars, out of the Wars trade, and Superman, he's kind of thinking about things, and he's like, with all my strength and all of this, I can't, it's hard for me to figure this out. He's like, all of my powers are useless in this situation, but I still have to figure this out. This is still, my burden. This is still on me. But he doesn't give up. Even in the whole situation, he's still not going to give up. Obviously we know he overcome. This is due to time, but nevertheless, it's still something that's quite accurate to his character, that regardless of his, even when his powers don't seem to fit the keyhole, he'll still use his intellect and everything that he was raised on to help solve the problem. And so that's one of the biggest things. Sorry if it's like this, the audio in this is going to be really, really windy. I'm kind of on my way into work. But that's the key, right? I mean, he always figures it out. That's why he's one of the best, if not the best, science fiction character ever created. And I'm going to bring up another. I'm going to make another response video to the Kelly, to Yellowflash's and everybody else's Kelly Sue DeConnick writing Aquaman. I'm going to make another video. I've been kind of sleeping in before work due to late nights and all other stuff. So I'm going to use this weekend, or my first, the first time off convenience, to make my next video, and I'm going to really explain why the Kelly Sue DeConnick interview that Yellowflash used, why it's so troublesome, and why DC should be stepping in, why DC should have stepped in and should redirect her in her stance on how she's going to be handling Aquaman. So, but back to Superman. But that's what it is. That's where this really stems from. This stems from the insecurities, because this is what narcissism is. It's not a real sense of security. It's a false sense of security that bleeds through in false self-confidence. It's Brian Michael Bendis has been he's now considered the biggest fish, right? This is why DC had to make these giant banners. Bendis is coming, which is just disgusting on multiple levels. But that was the most troublesome part, right? Was that they had to stroke this guy's ego. He isn't anything big. I mean, this would have been huge news in like 2005. Like if DC was able to snipe him away from Marvel at the peak of his Daredevil run, like fresh, like hot off of his Daredevil run. If DC could have snatched him up and got him on board, like, that would have been pretty hot. Like, that would have been a hot take. But this is a guy with very low retail value, very low resale value. This guy's got, he's got nothing. He's lost a lot of equity as a creator over time, and I know that his tweets have been just as bad, but he's also embraced some of the worst that Marvel has had. He's really embraced the guys like Mark Waid and the dudes in dresses like Mags and all those others. Like, he's really kind of embraced them too. So it's really hard to take him seriously as a creator, which is one of the more frustrating things about DC, and why they are letting these godless, narcissist, just awful people write their books is frustrating. So, but really this is where it comes down to, and this is why I would support people not to buy his book. Don't buy into Superman, and I know that's hard. Or at least what you should do is don't buy it for now, and wait until they kick him off the book. Really show DC that it's like, hey, this guy's behavior, this guy's writing, this guy's everything. It's just not acceptable for this character. This guy is below your standard. DC standards should be higher than Superman. Like I said, is the best science fiction character ever created in history. There is literally no one on top of him. Not even Spider-Man. who is also a widely popular name, cannot beat Superman. He cannot beat Superman. No one can beat Superman. He is the best science fiction character. So you need people who understand both hard virtues and soft virtues. And that's the thing. Brian Michael Bendis does not understand either. He doesn't understand truth. He doesn't and okay, number one, I'm gonna pause right there real quick. Truth. Number one, truth. No one who identifies with the left, with liberalism, with this SJW nonsense, understands truth. They don't. They claim that they have it, but they don't understand it. They don't have it. There's no 300 plus genders. Homosexuality is not natural. Not even in the animal kingdom. It's not even natural, and most of the time it's an act of dominance or a play or anything like that. It's not real, genuine homosexuality. Even those gay penguins, once they were coupled up with female penguins, they went on to mating with female penguins. So no, homosexuality doesn't really happen in animals. But anyway, and homosexuality is also dangerous. I mean, it's just dangerous to people's health. The thin membranes within the rectum, for penile anus contact, I mean, it's dangerous. You introduce a bunch of microorganisms and disease in through the anus, and you can infect yourself just drastically. Sorry, I know I just took a weird turn. But the fundamental is that Brian Michael Bendis doesn't understand truth. He doesn't understand justice. SJWs do not understand justice. Anybody who identifies with social justice warriors do not understand justice. They do not understand the hard virtue of true justice. Not like our side. This is why with Jeremy Hambley, the punch was so significant. It's because now this is where we finally learn whether or not our side is the truly marginalized, and that if we will actually see justice or not. So this is why that punch was so significant. The American way, just being freedom, liberty-loving people, and not supporting censorship, and that's not what he is. He's part of the comics gate, not our side, but the gatekeepers of comics. And then you have the softer virtues, right? Like love and mercy, forgiveness, and none of them have that either. They preach about love, but they preach about a perverted, sexualized love, which I'm telling you right now, by 2025, Marvel will have its first pedophile superhero. I'm telling you right now, Marvel will be the first one to have a pedophile superhero, because to them, love is love, and all they're going to do is they're going to keep pushing that, right? But that's what they feel. They revere love, not the source of love. They don't revere God, who's the true love, died on the cross and sacrificed all. Truth with love, justice with love, mercy of love, right? They don't understand that. That's why they want to dox people. That's why they want to keep people out of the industry. This is why they say disgusting, vile things. This is why Mark Waid called Ethan Van Sciver's family a burden. He doesn't understand love. He doesn't understand it. Family is love, man. Family's love. And that's what's important. It's family, Not this self-love, not this yay me BS that these SJWs, that's the only thing that they understand is this narcissism. They're a bunch of rats in a rat utopia, grooming themselves and fornicating amongst themselves. That's why. That's what these gatekeepers are. They're a bunch of rats, a bunch of fornicating, self-fornicating, homosexual fornicating, these gender-confused rats living in their own little utopia of their own little making, and why they will not relinquish any sort of power. They always crave power because they want to lord it over other people and influence other people. Anyway, so I know this video is getting long, but this is where we're at. And this is why that bothers people, because it's this narcissistic rat, and I really shouldn't be referring to him as anything other than human. He is a human. all right, and he has feelings, and he has an intelligence, but he's got problems. And we really should be praying for him, and we should talk to him. We shouldn't, obviously we shouldn't be slamming on him, because that's never going to work. But then again, I mean, probably talking to him is never going to work. Talking to these people usually don't work at all. Never does. Never seems to work. But, it's just, this is where we're at. This is where we're at, and this is why, I support Yellowflash's stance, don't breed Superman. This is why I support anybody, whether it's you guys out there who are watching this video, his fans, my fans, DNC's fans, like everybody's fans, right? Like, this is why I support you guys to don't read Superman right now. Wait until Bendis is off their books. Wait till he goes either independent or back to Marvel, which he'll eventually do. He will eventually crawl back, and Marvel will have Bendis is coming back, and they'll put him on whatever books, because obviously no one else can write Jessica Jones except for him, which is fine. That's his character. He's the one that can get in her head the best, and that's cool. But this is where we're at right now. And it's all emblematic. And so what we really should be doing is we should be contacting DC, telling them, hey, we're not going to support you in this. Please stop doing this. Put these guys back. Put Tomasi, put Jurgens back on these books. Sorry for your loss on Brian Michael Bendis, but we can't stand with you. Sorry for putting Kelly Sue DeConnick on your book, but we can't stand with you. You gotta flush your turds, man, and stop breaking your promises. Which like I said, I'm gonna get to that on the Kelly Sue DeConnick video that I'm gonna make either later tonight or tomorrow. All right, guys. Until then, I will see you on the next one. Later.